This is the next section of The Objectified, subtitled Negative Basis. By being involved in the objectification of others, or by objectifying others, including the objectified, it makes us feel subconsciously like we are not being ripped off, or that the damage or disrespect caused has been mutual. It encourages religion that teach the objectification of others, e.g. absolute depravity. People may choose to reject a belief system when they are objectified by someone who holds that belief system. One is not concerned about others encouraging us to accept objectification, and the tolerance of objectification in general, when one is responsible for making another person accept objectification. One is consciously not concerned about others encouraging us to accept apparent self-objectification when one is involved in apparent self-objectification oneself. The principles of counter-objectification on both sides of the positive feedback loop receive claims of justification. However, the fact that one's likelihood to support a given side is highly dependent upon one's category indicates that possibly neither is correct, where justification on either side is poor. All like to stay in control and don't trust without good reason. Objectification destroys this general trust, and as a result, clothing will reflect this belief. Any clothing which relies upon or emphasizes trust in another is incompatible with a society that tolerates objectification. People do not wish to honor those who do not deserve it, those in acceptance of objectification. And apparent self-objectification may be used as a workaround. Apparent self-objectification may result from people not having someone to honor. Both acceptance of objectification in the media and apparent self-objectification may involve playing with something which was never meant to be played with at that age. They can be compared to a child secretly worshipping or teasing a person of the opposite sex they are attracted to instead of honoring them. Acceptance of objectification in the media and apparent self-objectification cannot be taken seriously. Both are immature responses. Acceptance of objectification in the media and apparent self-objectification may arise from an experience of immaturity in the opposite sex, as an immature response to immaturity. The illusion of apparent self-objectification may be broken by an act of immaturity, so it encourages the opposite sex to act immaturely. Tolerance of objectification creates a positive feedback loop based upon immaturity. Apparent self-objectification may be used to empower a sex, as it encourages the opposite sex to act immaturely. Because apparent self-objectification may occur when we are objectified, we need assurance that we are liked. We are naturally jealous of the attention others receive from objectification, particularly those we love and desire and deserve attention from, and we may be inclined to objectify ourselves in response to any instance of objectification observed and suspected to be tolerated by society. Apparent self-objectification may develop in response to apparent self-objectification in media, games, fashion, etc. In order to compete with the objectification in the media and apparent self-objectification as product of the tolerance of objectification in the media, one must expose themselves in a manner of environment-dependent appropriateness, being only appropriate in an objectification-tolerant environment. Tolerance of objectification results in the division of societies and communities. Tolerance also results in hospitality and safety becoming environment-dependent, intra-societal. Some may become involved in apparent self-objectification, because the tolerance of objectification has prevented anyone from the opposite sex from noticing them or talking to them. One may objectify themselves as a tantrum in reaction to, or rationalization of, others being allowed to objectify themselves. Some instances of satiric self-objectification may form as a reaction to being unloved. For example, belonging to a category of human beings that has been unloved, objectified via the acceptance, tolerance of false logic, where viewers of the media are led to believe that they can and should have objects being presented, rather than show respect. Not giving ourselves as a subject helps us deal with the tolerance of objectification and disrespect caused thereby, and maintain self-confidence. Therefore, apparent self-objectification may be used as a means of psychological protection. Apparent self-objectification may form as the antithesis of the tolerance of objectification in the media, where in the case of the objectification in the media, one is led to believe they can have an object, and in apparent self-objectification, one is led to believe they cannot have an object. It is cyclical. Once one person gains attention through objectification, this encourages others to objectify themselves to gain the attention they deserve, would otherwise have received. It is cyclical. It creates the challenge to demonstrate oneself externally in order to prove they can compete. Tolerance of objectification is fed by the fact people are too busy competing with each other based upon the challenge to compete generated by its tolerance, thereby accepting rationalization as a faster, easier, personal solution. Apparent self-objectification may be product of an attempt to compete with or integrate themselves into being part of the psychological challenge of objectification, instead of going with their initial reaction of disgust. This attempt may be encouraged by one's base desire to objectify themselves. Apparent self-objectification may be used to gain for oneself infatuation by another, which may be used to break their addiction to media-based objectification. Apparent self-objectification may be used as an expression of one's respect for, understanding of, or desire for change in other people in society, in appreciation or distaste for one's own treatment, and people are free to express themselves in any way they want, whether it by intentionally dressing, talking, shouting, looking, staring, ignoring, shunning, filtering, walking, running, dancing, or driving. Some forms of apparent self-objectification may make one feel self-contained and not feel like they need anything or anybody else, feel independent, secure, etc. As forms of apparent self-objectification can make one appear self-contained, it may be used to demonstrate their belief that they are not reliant upon those around them for protection or respect. A demonstration of disregard, for example, a reaction to being unwanted. As some forms of apparent self-objectification can make one appear self-contained, it may be disrespectful to those around them whom they are reliant upon for protection and or respect. Apparent self-objectification allows the expression of one's distaste for their sex's objectification by combining it with a facial expression of embarrassment or distaste for their being themselves being observed as an object. It facilitates a cry for recognition and comfort in a hurting world, which since the sexual revolution has even been in reinforcing pain and discomfort as a natural and inevitable consequence of being a fallible creature, which we as individuals should just deal with and of course believe in an infallible book instead, may involve making someone feel guilty without having done anything wrong, and as a consequence, guilt being the consequence of the acceptance of objectification anyway, objectification loses all consequences and is thereby encouraged. As objectification is psychological, it can be defeated or neutralized with psychology. As apparent self-objectification provides one with another psychological experience of objectification, it can help one get over a psychological experience of objectification in the media by demonstration that it is not unique and therefore not particularly special. An apparent self-objectification, as it provides one with another psychological experience of objectification in combination with the reality of a person, it can help one get over a psychological experience of objectification in the media completely, understand it as an illusion. It can help one understand that objectification is a psychological process and break the illusion presented by objectification in the media. Some forms of satiric self-objectification, however, may form out of disgust, as a reaction against the acceptance of the full and unlimited objectification of human beings by members of our society, with the intention of demonstrating the inadequacy of this feat of the imagination when it is combined with actual human beings. Apparent self-objectification may be used as a form of reverse psychology against their objectification. Apparent self-objectification may not necessarily be positive or negative in itself. It may merely be a reaction to the tolerance of objectification. As apparent self-objectification is psychological, it can be defeated or neutralized with reverse psychology against another's apparent self-objectification. No one has the ability and opportunity to reason in the same way, and no one has the same opportunity to experience the subjective significance of themselves and others, which results in variations in the rationalization of both objectification in the media and apparent self-objectification. Clothes, and people wanting, not forcing us to wear them, makes us feel honoured and worth something, both physically and subjectively, which is our greatest need. People may involve themselves in apparent self-objectification because they don't feel worthy or like it is possible to demonstrate their worth. Lack of self-confidence. Apparent self-objectification is a product of conformity, which seems to infect people without self-confidence in particular, fed by the objectification of their sex. Only one sex has to go through physical pain as product of their sex, and so they might think it unfair that the other sex doesn't have to experience this, particularly when the other sex tolerates their objectification, and might therefore feel justified in causing emotional, psychological stress and pain through apparent self-objectification.